Welcome to the Irish in the UK. Coming up on the show this week, we'll be joined by Dr Sabiha Bakht, who is going to be giving us some tips and advice on how to deal with colds and flu as we head into the winter months. We'll be attending one of Nathan Carter's fantastic concerts for a great night of entertainment. But first up, All FM radio station in Manchester has been working on a project for over 9 months called Roots into Levenshulme. It tells the story about people who live in Levenshulme, the history of the area and how some people came to live there.
Who's looking after Levenshulme? From the rumble of the railway tracks past the cellars.
Roots into Levenshulme, it's a radio project where we've trained people in using radio, interview, research, producing, presenting radio shows on the history of heritage, and essentially that of Levenshulme and the people of Levenshulme. So what we've done is we've gone out and talked to people of Levenshulme, interviewed them, looked at their journeys into Levenshulme, literally roots into Levenshulme, to investigate, you know, the weird and wonderful ways people have found their way here and what they've done when they've come to Levenshulme.
And this project has been running now since last March.
Yeah, it's been running for about a year. It's funded by the Heritage Lottery Fund, and it's been a great project. It's been a very interesting project. It's all about investigating diversity, and using radio is a great way of doing this. It's because it's simply listening to people's voices, listening to people's stories. So it's an unfiltered way of hearing people's experiences in their lives and what Levenshulme has meant to them and how they've come to be here.
Of course, this has been a really interesting project, and a lot of the people have got their own radio shows here now on All FM.
Yeah, a great legacy of radio training at All FM is to have a regular show. So once you've been trained in radio, you have then the skills to produce and present your own radio show. And Roots into Levenshulme, the legacy of this project is a regular radio show about the history and the people of Levenshulme. And this is what today is all about launching these shows. And yeah, so the people who've been trained will now be regular presenters on the All FM schedule.
We're looking after Levenshulme.
Susie, now you've been heavily involved in this project and training the people and working with them since last March.
Yes, absolutely. It's been a brilliant project. I can't say how much fun it's been. You know, we've had loads of laughs. And the people that we've been training have just been excellent. They've picked up stuff immediately. It's unbelievable. So they're all very competent radio producers now, so there's no need for me to be here. I'm going to go on holiday. But the main people in this project have been the ones that have given their stories, the people of Levenshulme. We've been all over the place in Levenshulme, you know, collecting stories, and we've got about 40 stories so far, and we're still collecting. So people who live in Levenshulme, we're interested in hearing from you. And today we've had this function, and several people have said they would like to give their story. And one person has said that he learned to read over in that corner in the library. This is an old library. And he learned to read when he was 5 years old over in that corner. And this is the first time he's been back since he was a kid.
And I know you've had a few Irish stories in there as well, because you were telling me during the week.
Certainly have. Clem, my old friend Clem, who's here today, he told a brilliant story about his trip from Dublin. He started out in Dublin, came to Manchester, and he arrived in Levenshulme when it was the Irish Festival. And so he tells the story about getting to Levenshulme and seeing all these, you know, the carnival, all the pubs and everything, and people dancing in the street. And it was the Irish Festival when he first arrived. It must have been the 1960s.
Martina, you've been involved in this project right from the beginning as well. Tell me about your experience.
It's been an absolutely fantastic experience. I've loved every minute of it. We've been learning loads of different skills, radio production skills, being on the desk, playing different tracks. And we've also been learning editing skills as well, and it's really helped with my confidence. I've had some really positive feedback about the shows that I've done on the radio, and it's also been really lovely because I've met people who are my neighbours in Levenshulme who I'd not met before. So we now have a shared history.
And of course the positive thing is as well that all of them and yourselves have produced a CD that people can take away today and play. So if they weren't experiencing the stories, at least they can hear some of the stories that's gone out on the radio and some of the stories that's been told here today.
Yeah, well, you know, I think we are used to hearing famous people's stories. But one of the great things about this is that everybody has got an interesting story to tell. You know, we lead ordinary everyday lives, but they are fascinating ordinary lives. So that's also been a brilliant thing to hear. And that's been captured on that CD, like you say, yeah, so people can hear snippets of what fantastic people live in this community.
We're looking after
Well done to everybody who's been involved, and the project is still continuing. So if you've got any stories to tell, contact Ed at All FM radio station. Now the winter months are fast approaching, and a lot of us will be suffering from colds and flu. Now Dr Sabiha Bakht is here with us to give us some advice.
Hello, my name is Dr Sabiha Bakht. We have come here today to speak about flu. Many of you will be aware, because of the time of the year, that there is a lot of coverage of flu on the TV, the newspapers, over the news. I just thought it might be a bit useful to have some information about flu. So flu can be a very, very serious illness, and last year it caused about just over 15,000 hospital deaths. So the symptoms of flu can be very, very similar to a cold. So you can get a sudden fever, aching in your body, feeling tired, exhausted. You can get a dry cough, even a chesty cough. You can have a sore throat, a headache, feeling very tired, very sleepy. You might not feel like eating very much. And in some cases, you may even also have some diarrhea and some vomiting. The difference between sort of flu and how to recognise flu from a cold is that the symptoms can probably come on more suddenly, and you tend to be a lot more unwell. So whilst with a cold you may be able to function by going to school and going to work, with a flu you tend to be more more lethargic, so unable to go to work, and often you have much higher temperatures and the aches and pains can be much more severe. You don't always need to see the GP when you've got flu. The majority of it can be handled at home. However, there are some vulnerable people who may need to see the GP, such as people who are very old, children who are very young, and those with chronic health problems such as heart, lung, neurological or metabolic disorders could benefit from seeing the GP. So my advice would be, for those who have got a chronic health problem, any parents that are worried about their children, and those who are frail or elderly, it may be worth seeing your GP. For anyone else, if your symptoms last for more than 7 days, that would be the time to go and see your GP. There are many things that we can do to prevent flu. One is simply catching it, killing it and binning it. So when you need to cough or sneeze, catch it in a tissue, bin the tissue, and then wash your hands with antibacterial soap to get rid of any sort of bacterial viruses that may reside. Other things that we can do is to take up the opportunity for anyone who's eligible for the flu jab. Any new flu viruses that come to light this winter will not be covered by the flu jab. Anyone who is eligible, we would recommend that you do get the flu jab, and anyone who is has got any chronic health problems should also ask their GP if they're unsure, should they be eligible for the flu jab. There are many people in the community that suffer from asthma and COPD, so I just wanted to cover very briefly about things that this special group of people can do to help them prevent flu. So number one is to be compliant with all your inhalers. If you are due for an asthma or a COPD review, it may be worth booking in with your GP or nurse just to have a look at your medication, just to make sure that all your symptoms are managed well. Well-controlled asthma and well-controlled COPD can often prevent longer illnesses or even catching the flu, because your immune system will be working well and the medications will be helping you to clear any chest issues that you may have. For those that do have COPD or asthma and who have maybe been unlucky to get the flu, it may be worth seeing your doctor earlier, especially if it is affecting your breathing or it is affecting your chest, as sometimes we might need to intervene sooner rather than later. So just in summary, today we've discussed what flu is and all the symptoms that you can get. But if you were to take something away, I would like to say that anyone that is eligible for the flu vaccine to uptake the flu vaccine and get yourself immunised. If you're unlucky to have got flu this year, then just remember there are lots of things that you can do to self-manage at home, and the pharmacist can also assist you with medications that you can take to help you feel better and manage some of the symptoms of flu. If, however, your symptoms do go beyond 7 days, if you have a chronic health problem that's affected by the flu, or if you are a parent that's worried about your child or someone elderly or frail that you're unsure about the symptoms or the uncertainty of the diagnosis or how it's affecting you, then at that point I would suggest that you do contact your GP. And for everyone else, all I would recommend is catch it, bin it, kill it. I hope you all have a healthy winter and see you soon.
A big thank you to Dr Sabiha Bakht for joining us tonight, and I hope you found her advice helpful. Now we're off for a short break. Don't go away, stay with us, because we've got Nathan Carter coming up in part 2. Welcome back to the show. If you've got a story for us, contact me. The details are on the screen now. Now we're off to meet Nathan Carter at his fantastic concert in Preston. Nathan, great to see you here in Preston tonight.
Yeah, delighted to be here. This is my first time performing with my band and my show in many years in Preston, here at the Guildhall, lovely venue, and on myself and the band with the Horton Weavers, who I used to gig with many years ago, about 12 years ago, 14 years ago. They used to get me up on stage, so it's great to be back in Preston.
And there's a great Irish congregation here around Preston as well.
There is, yeah. I mean, I used to, when I started gigging when I was 18, I used to play in a pub called the Unicorn, just down the road here in Preston. I'm not sure if it's still here anymore, but we used to get a lot of Irish people coming in to see myself then, you know, and the pub attracted a lot of, you know, Irish expats. So I'd imagine there's still definitely a lot of Irish people around, and hopefully they'll be here at the show tonight.
Well, now, a few weeks ago, Nathan, you had the ultimate accolade, of course, singing for Pope Francis at Croke Park. What was that like?
Oh, it was a massive honour, and it was the biggest crowd I'd ever sang to be honest. We had about 60,000 people in Croke Park to come and see the show and to see Pope Francis. And there was something like 1 million people tuned in at home and abroad to watch on TV, you know. So it was a massive honour for me to be asked, and I sang with an orchestra and with a deaf choir who sign language. They did sign language for the song, which was really nice. The show was 2 hours long. There was 2,000 performers on the stage throughout the night, between Riverdance, Andrew Bocelli, Daniel O'Donnell, Sean Keane. The list just went on and on and on of really talented people. So for me to be in the same lineup was a big honour and a dream come true.
Now your new song, Winnie O'Neill, that's going really well.
Yeah, it's a song I co-wrote with my manager John, and we wrote it about my great-grandmother, who was called Winnie O'Neill. The story is my nan, she still travels around with us to the gigs and sells the merchandise, and I got chatting to her one night about her parents, and she told me that her mum and her dad had emigrated from Northern Ireland many years ago, from a little place called Warren Point they tried to leave and head to America, but unfortunately their journey didn't go as planned. They were robbed on the boat to Liverpool when they set out, and they ended up bringing up 5 children, 5 girls, 5 boys, 10 children in Liverpool. So I thought this was a really cool story, and I put pen to paper and we sat down and we came up with the new single, which is called Winnie O'Neill.
And it's a lovely song, of course, and well requested all over the radio stations here in the UK. Fair play to you. Now, of course, you've got a new album as well.
Yeah, we have. I've just finished recording that. We did half it in Ireland and half it in Nashville. And the new album is called Born for the Road. And it is released the second week in October, and will be available to download from the 1st of October. You can download it on iTunes and you get a free track when you download it. So I'm looking forward to that. There's 6 original songs that I've co-written, and some old country covers like Misty, and a few old songs I've loved for many years and never had the chance of recording. So really proud of the album and can't wait for people to hopefully buy it, and I hope they enjoy it.
Of course, and look, we're all used to you singing and writing songs, but now you've done something different. You've written a book. My goodness, tell me about the book.
Well, yeah, we were. I was approached last year by Penguin, who are I think the biggest company in the UK and Ireland, to be honest, book-wise, and they asked me would I consider writing an autobiography, and I laughed at first because I was 27 at the time. I said, what have I got to write about, you know? But they reckon there was a bit of a demand, and the fans would like to hear the story so far. So I got a ghostwriter in, a lady called Emma Hetherington, who's from near Dungannon in Tyrone, and she came on tour with me for 3 weeks, and I told her my life story, the story so far, the ups, the downs of the music business and show business, and the struggles I've came across that a lot of people wouldn't know about. The early years, relationships, going to the school days, and plus while we were on tour, we did a tour diary from 3 weeks of when I played the Palladium, I played the 3 Arena in Dublin, and we did a diary from that time, which is all involved.
I'm really looking forward to that. There'll be so much, history and stories and everything in there. It'll be a great seller.
Well, as I say, there's a lot of stuff in there that people wouldn't know about me, really, stuff that's happened through the years. For example, I sang on Top of the Pops when I was 13, which no one knows about. I was in a choir robe and sang a song called All Together Now for the English football team. So stuff like that people wouldn't know, and old pictures that people we wouldn't have never released before, that some very embarrassing, to be honest, which I'm kind of cringing about. But apart from that, it's a good read, I think, and people will get to know me a bit more than they do now.
Well, we're looking forward to it, and congratulations on writing that book. That's well done. Now, of course, we know you're always busy and you've got gigs here, there and all over, but I know you've got a UK tour coming up in early January, haven't you?
I have. I'm delighted to say we've got more dates planned all around England from the last week in January, and I'm really excited in the fact that I'm going to be playing in my home city of Liverpool. We're going back to the Philharmonic, which is on the 25th, I think, of January. The night after, I'm going back to one of my first ever professional gigs, which is Leeds Irish Centre. I used to play there once a month for 3 years when I was 17. Tommy, who used to manage the Irish Centre, he's still there now. He gave me a lot of gigs and gave me a lot of encouragement. So we were looking for a date. We had a spare date on a Saturday night in January, and I rang Tommy, and he said it was free. So we're going back to do Leeds, and it will be a stand. Well, there'll be seating and standing. So if people want to dance, they'll be able to get up and have a dance as well, which is a bit different for me because I've been doing a lot of concerts recently, so that last weekend in January we're in Liverpool and Leeds, and it goes on and on right up until St Patrick's Day, the tour, and we finish off again in London, in the London Palladium on St Patrick's Day. Wow. Which is for me one of the most exciting things of the year. When I play the Palladium, I've done it 3 times now, which has been amazing, and to be going back on Paddy's night is going to be amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, how can people get tickets for those events? You know, if they wanted to book them in advance and stuff.
They're now on sale. They go on sale. They go on sale next week. So by the time this goes out, I think they'll be on sale, hopefully. And you can go to my website, which is nathancartermusic.com, or you can check out our Facebook page, which will have all the dates and the info and the so on, you know.
If you've never been to one of Nathan's concerts, well, make sure you go the next time he's in your area. I can guarantee you'll have a great time. Henry McGlade is back next Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, and I'm here at 7:30 with the Irish in the UK. Both shows are repeated on a Saturday evening between 8 and 9 p.m. and again on a Tuesday lunchtime between 12:30 and 1:30 p.m. All on Showcase TV, Sky 455. Now we're going to leave you with Nathan and his brand new song called Winnie O'Neill. See you soon.
Just a boy of 17, working in the fields of green, fell in love with the Newry girl. She said her name was Winnie. She could dance and she could sing. She to me was everything. We cut it 2 short years when I asked to marry Winnie. Winnie, will you marry me? Take me, find me, name O'Neill. They say there's gold in America, far away from the county down. Jimmy O'Neill, I'll marry you. We'll take the boat from Liverpool. From there we'll sail to America, far away from the county down. We were wed and full of hope, saved enough to take the boat, said goodbyes with tears in our eyes. We sailed from Belfast Harbour. As the boat began to dock, we received an awful shock. All our plans and dreams were gone, all our money it was stolen. Winnie, though you married me, took me family name O'Neill. We cannot go to America, away from the county down. Jimmy O'Neill, I've married you, so let's stay here in Liverpool, for better or for worse, far away from the county down. 'Twas a blessing, not a curse, from that rogue who stole my purse. Built our lives in Liverpool, without O'Neill, our daughter. Friends, I sing this song for you, a storybook of a life so true, a piece of family history told by my own grandfather. How an acorn grew an oak, family tree that won't be broke. I'm so glad they missed the boat, Jimmy and Winnie O'Neill. Winnie, will you marry me? Take me family name O'Neill. They say there's gold in America, far away from the county down. Jimmy O'Neill, I'll marry you. We'll take the boat from Liverpool. From there we'll sail to America, far away from the county down. Winnie, will you marry me? Take me family name O'Neill. They say there's gold in America, far away from the county down. Jimmy O'Neill, I'll marry you. We'll take the boat from Liverpool. From there we'll sail to America, far away